Hey everybody, you might have seen my previous post about getting injured. I'll explain what happened. I was indoor rock climbing and I did warm up, but then I sat around and didn't do anything for 30 to 40 minutes and then went back to climbing. And that was enough for my body to cool down. And then when I did a harder climb, I just did a movement that tweaked my hip in the wrong way. It's been hurting me since Monday when it happened, and I took a few days fully off the bike as rest. And then on Friday, I decided I was feeling a lot better. Still some pain for sure, but I wanted to try biking. Now, I do want to say that for any injury, if you have any doubts of the severity or it's hanging around for more than a couple days, I do encourage you to see a doctor, get their opinion. Don't just jump on the bike thinking, okay, it's going to be fine. It might not be. So definitely get that second opinion of an expert. And then when you're ready to get back on the bike, then you can do something similar to what I did and what I'm going to explain to you today. So I chose the trainer for my first ride back. And the reason I chose that is because it's very controllable. I know exactly what I'm doing. There's no surprises. I do recommend trainers for your first ride back because they are controllable, but do keep in mind, I have some athletes I coach who have been injured, and when they ride on the trainer, it actually aggravates the injury because it's very static. It doesn't really move, but when they ride outside on their bike, it does not aggravate the injury. So keep that in mind that the indoor bike could aggravate the injury, and just be very cautious if you choose indoors. Now, if you choose outdoors for your first bike, I recommend doing it on pretty flat ground because any hill is going to force you to put out higher power, and you might not be ready for that yet. So my first indoor ride back, I just did 30 minutes, and this is very, very short for me. Typically, when I'm riding inside, I ride about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So 30 minutes is, I would say, either half or even a third or a quarter of what I typically do. So if you're getting back on the bike, definitely go at least a half of your typical, if not less than that. And even if you're feeling good, do not extend it. So I actually felt pretty good. 30 minutes into the workout, I was like, I could go another 30 minutes, but don't, because you never know what's going to happen when you get off the bike. The injury might get triggered while you're on the bike without you knowing it, and then it stiffens up and gets worse over time. So I stuck to 30 minutes. I increased the power just a tad. I did it in a very controlled manner, no sudden movements. It was just a gradual increase. I did not go above my FTP. I held the higher power for 5-minute increments, and then I called it a day. So the next day I did an hour. 24 hours later, I felt fine, and I thought, okay, the first 30 minutes, it didn't trigger anything. It didn't make any worse. Let's try a little bit longer. So today, my hour-long ride, I basically did the same thing. I pushed the power a little bit here and there. I tried some standing. I didn't go above FTP. And again, I'm going to wait 24 hours to see what happens. Now, if you wait 24 hours and you feel like the pain is actually increasing a little bit, I recommend you wait another 24 hours because sometimes things can increase over time. It's like those DOMs. You do a workout, you might feel it 2 days after the fact. So if you have any chance or thought that maybe things aren't good, just wait another 24 hours. Wait 2 days in between your workouts. But if you're fine and the pain isn't increasing and you feel like, okay, I can do this again after 24 hours, go for it. So my third day back, I am going to ride tomorrow, and I'm going to go outside. So this is less controlled, and I'm actually going to try some hills because I know I can push up to FTP, so I can get up these hills. And I'm going to push it a little bit more with anaerobic, maybe a little VO2 power, a little bit more standing on variable terrain. So I'm throwing a little bit more variety at my body to see what happens, but I'm also going to be very, very careful and do it all in a pretty controlled manner. No group rides yet. I do not want that unpredictable, uncontrolled intensity. So this is all by myself, and I'm 100% controlling it. So I never go over the limits of what my body can currently handle.